Hello, shippers. I'm Cher McMullin, head of entertainment at Tumblr, and person who ships everyone, including people she knows, so far resulting in 2 marriages.
That's pretty good. That's impressive.
Right? Thank you very much. I'm pretty proud of it. And, you know, I hope that there are I ship many more people in real life. So, look.
If you want to get married.
Look, if you want to get married,
become Cher's
right
friend.
On in. Like, maybe, should we do like blog matchmaking? Anyone want to?
Oh, that's actually a very fun idea. And I'm Lauren Shippen, professional writer who has Shippen in her DNA.
Oh my!
I had to make a Shippen joke.
Very excited about that. Wow, can't believe I'm surprised. I didn't even expect it. Didn't even even though I've made that joke multiple times, I was like,
and I don't think I've ever made that joke. So like, I feel proud of myself.
And this is Dashboard Diaries, a podcast for you, the folks who are in this internet bunker with us. We talk about what's going on our favorite hell site, get into what we like to call Tumblr, do fandom deep dives, and share the times when we've gone feral over a new ship. Or, in the case of today's episode, perhaps an obscure ship, an underrated ship, a new ship.
Yep.
So, Lauren, how has your last month been on Tumblr since the last time we chatted?
Yeah, it's been good. I was sort of like looking through my recent likes to sort of see like, what I have like a system in place, right? Where when I'm scrolling on desktop, I just like immediately queue things that I want to queue. But if I'm scrolling on my phone, like, let's be honest, like lying in bed before I go to sleep, I'll like things. And then like once a week, I'll sort of go through my likes and queue everything. It's like it's a real system. But anyway, so I was like looking through my recent likes, and 911 is coming back in March, and like basically like exactly a month. And it's like, the 911 activity on my dash has started to pick up, and it's new season, new network. It's a shorter season because of the strike. Like, I'm very excited. There's a huge cruise ship disaster to kick off the season. 911 is like my one network show basically at this point, and I love it dearly. And so there's been just a lot of 911 in my life on my dash recently. And then the other thing that popped up this week was, and I'll be sure to reblog this to dashboarddiaries.tumblr.com, was this old post, or an old post of a screenshot of someone's dashboard. And the dashboard is from when did Tumblr's mobile app come out?
That is a good question. I want to say 2010, but that is an arbitrary year that brain is making up.
I'm texting you this because it was in my likes. But like, look at the glory of this. It's a screenshot of probably 2010 mobile dashboard.
Yeah, 2009 on iOS and 2010 on BlackBerry.
There you go. And this, oh my God, on BlackBerry. For our younger listeners, BlackBerry used to be the alternative to the iPhone, basically. Or not even it was like the alternative to like a Palm Pilot. Do you remember Palm Pilot?
Or a Palm Pilot or a Sidekick.
Oh,
or
the side.
A Razor.
I always wanted a Sidekick so bad, or a Razor.
I wanted one so badly. I had a Razor. I had a hot pink Razor.
Oh, the hot pink Razor was like the thing. Anyway, I really like. I feel like we're getting into a stage with Tumblr, with how old it is, and for me personally, just with how long I've been on Tumblr, that there's just now like a lot of just like even more Tumblr nostalgia sort of coming through, and so that's just been fun to sort of start off the year with, of just like looking at a 2010 dashboard and being like, oh my God, I don't even recognize this dashboard configuration, because I don't think I got the mobile app for Tumblr until probably 2015. And I still am 98% of the time a desktop user. Like I am not, only really in the past 2 years have I become a mobile user. So anyway, that's been my last month on Tumblr. What have you been up to?
I mean, first off, love that 911 is starting on shipping too, just a different kind with the Teehee. And then also, I love that one of the things you brought up was like when we launched, or like when the mobile app launched, and like the like OG dashboard, because this month is Tumblr's birthday. So yeah, Tumblr, we were just chatting about this in a meeting, how like the date of Tumblr's birthday seems to change every year when we get new information because it kind of depends on like your perspective. Like,
right, like what do you count?
Was it when it like first like launched like to a small group or to the public or, you know, whatever it is. So I think this year we're going with the 19th.
Okay.
Is the birthday.
Okay.
And so anyway, yeah, I love that. So I love looking back at like all the OG dashboards and stuff. So definitely a good time to be looking back. And then for the last month on Tumblr, I mean, obviously with the Super Bowel happening for all of our What We Do in the Shadows fans, always a fun night on Tumblr because we love sports famously.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Tumblr's a big sports place.
Also, there's on the topic of ships. We came out with a ships list a couple weeks ago. I'm gonna drop it into our little chat, and thought it'd be fun to do a poll on the entertainment Tumblr.
Ooh.
To see which ship, like which of the top ships is the most popular, or is like taking up the most mental space at the moment. So first,
fascinating.
I want to show you this poll. Like, I'm going to make sure what I'm linking you is the poll without the results, because I really want you to guess.
Ooh,
I really want you to guess which one, because one of these, there were 12 options, and there's one winner that got 55%.
Interesting.
So I really want you. So
that's a real quorum.
I know, I was shocked. And also just like, I'm very excited to see what you think the one that won is.
Man.
And for all our listeners here, I'm going to go quickly run through the ship options in the list. First one, Has Been Hotel, Husker Dust. Second one, Percy Jackson, Perkabeth. Third one, Good Omens, Ineffable Husbands. Fourth one, Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonadao. Fifth, Has Been Hotel, Chaggy. Sixth, Jujutsu Kaisen, Satsugu. Seventh, Hanagram.
We love to see it.
Eighth, One Piece, Zosan. Ninth, Has Been Hotel, Radio Apple. And then there are three options one was another ship on the full list, a ship that isn't on the top ships list, which is of 20, and then another one that was a fleet of ships sails on the sea of my mind. I cannot choose only one. Which I was really laughing at myself for.
I love that.
Anyway, yeah, which one do you think, Lauren, got that 55%?
I mean, part of me thinks that it's a fleet of ships sail on my mind. But if we're going off of those ships, I mean, I think it would be Ineffable Husbands. Like, I think that would be the winning ship of that bunch. Mm-hmm. Oh, God. Yeah. What was it?
Surprisingly, that's not what it is. And, actually, I was wrong. Actually, the winner got 58.5%.
Oh, my God.
And, oh, my gosh. Wait, at this moment, I just realized, Lauren, shoot. The poll's not done. It has a day and 2 hours left.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. I'm voting for Hanagram. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, I never ever would have guessed this. So the winning ship by an enormous margin, as you said, is Sonic and Shadow from Sonic the Hedgehog. What happened?
I have no idea. If you look at the notes, they're all Sonadao supremacy, rise up, Sonadao stand.
Sonadao sweep. Oh my God. This is incredible.
I just, Tumblr continues to surprise and delight. I love this chaotic platform. It's amazing.
Oh, that's so good. Also, this is a poll and the ship list that actually brings up something about my last month on Tumblr that I forgot about and that I would love to get your take on, which is, what the fuck is Has Been Hotel and why is it all of a sudden everywhere?
Okay, so Has Been Hotel is a new Amazon MGM Studios animated series.
Oh, okay.
And the plot of it, if I'm not mistaken, which I might be, vaguely incorrect, is essentially the daughter of Lucifer has opened a hotel for wayward souls to try and get into heaven.
That's fun.
So demons and things. And so there's obviously just a wide range of shipping happening.
Of course.
It really feels like it happened this show blew up overnight. It was just suddenly Hazbin Hotel was everywhere. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. I need to, because obviously it's, taking over the Tumblr platform, which is really exciting to see a brand new show with a completely, and also Tumblr does love hell and demons.
It's so true.
At L.
It's so,
but it's exciting to see it really take off on, like, a brand new show take off on platform. I mean, like, I think, Hazbin Hotel will be a big one for a while.
I didn't know that it was a show. I thought it was like a dating sim or like a JRPG. Like, I thought it was like a video game for some reason. I don't know why.
Right, well, because it really does feel like it's oftentimes we at least kind of hear about shows or some conversation before they come out and overtake the platform, or they kind of like get big later in season 1 or around season 2. This is a show that came out, like, the season 1 I don't think is even done with new episodes at the moment, or it is just finished, and it's huge.
That's incredible.
So, yeah, super exciting to see. On the topic of Hazbin Hotel and just a lot of amazing ships and a lot of chaotic ships and everywhere in between. The ships list is like 4 out of 20 Hazbin Hotel pretty much every week at the moment. But so our topic this week is our pitches for slept on ships.
Yeah.
So Lauren and I have both brought some ships today that we think really should be more of, have more of a role in the like Tumblr zeitgeist.
Yeah.
Or, conversation. We want more fic, we want more conversation, or any, depending on what we're bringing.
Right. True.
So Lauren, what have you brought today? Which slept on ship or fleet of ships?
Yeah, I think we each brought 3 ships. I didn't write my other 2 down really, but to start off, I'm going to start off with the newest one, which is what I'm calling the Monarch Founder Polycule. And this is from the Apple TV show Monarch Legacy of Monsters. And just a general sort of blanket spoiler for this show. I'll try to stay away from like too many spoilers, but in order to like really describe the ship, I need to get into it a little bit. So Monarch Legacy of Monsters, have you watched this show?
I watched the first episode, and I've seen, I think, pretty much all, if not like most, if not all of the other like monster films leading up.
Gotcha. Great.
But I haven't gotten into this one yet, but I know kind of where it starts, the main characters and the main monsters so far. I'm sure there's some new ones.
There's like a monster every episode, which is awesome. Yeah. So yes, so this TV show is I think like pretty much like the first TV show sort of within the world of Godzilla that's been built over the last couple of years through, I'm not forgetting what studio it is, but anyway, whoever owns Godzilla currently. And it takes place in 2 different timelines. There's like a 1950s timeline and a they're like 2014 timeline. And the 1950s timeline is about the 3 people who found Monarch. And Monarch is like the company that tracks the Titans and like studies them and like fights against them and stuff. And they're like, in the modern age, they're like kind of a sketchy government organization. Like they're sort of good guys, but they're sort of not. And yeah, there's like a lot to do with Monarch in this show. Obviously, it's called Monarch Legacy of Monsters, and it's like about the legacy of Monarch and kind of the family that started it, and then their like next generation and the generation after that, which is like the modern day. And so the ship that there are like a couple of ships in the show that are like canon or like headed that way, and including a queer female ship in the modern day that's like really lovely and complex because of like various things that I won't spoil. But I really love the 3 founders.
Love that you listed them out by descriptors, but not by names.
But not by names.
Just so so Tumblr of you.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So in my notes, I said there's 1 pretty blonde dude in uniform, 1 kick-ass smart hot woman, 1 goofy green bean. Because that's like my pitch for like why Tumblr would like these people. The blonde hot guy in uniform is Lee Shaw, played by Wyatt Russell, who is Kurt Russell's real life son, and Kurt Russell plays the older version of Lee Shaw in the modern era. So it's like very cute because it's like his son is playing like the younger version of him. It's great. And then, yeah, Keiko is the hot, smart woman. She's the scientist that is studying these like anomalies, and then Lee is like the person who is tasked with protecting her. Like he's in the army, and I forget exactly specifically where they are, but they're on an island in the Pacific, and she's going out to do this study, and he's kind of like literally like her bodyguards. Like already we're like getting into like good tropes, right? And they've got like sort of like some flirty banter, and like he's sort of the uptight army type, and she's like, you know, the adventurous, like, let's go out and do this thing. And then they run into the goofy green bean, who is Bill Randa, who's played by John Goodman in Skull Island. So it's like a young Bill Randa, and he's a cryptozoologist, and he's just like a fucking nerd and like kind of like, you know, like very like Mulder, right? Like believes in these like really wacky things. And the three of them end up like teaming up and founding Monarch, and just like their dynamic is so like the very first scene that you see with them is like is after like a few years after they founded Monarch and stuff, and they're like going out to find this monster. And this is where I'm going to get into one of the big spoilers, but it does happen in the first episode. They go out and they find this monster, and Keiko ends up dying. And so then it's just like the two of them left alone, basically, without her. But like just the first scene of them in the car, I'm like, oh, these three people are married. And Kay and Bill are married, actually, like in the show. And then like Lee is like their guy. And then like after she dies, like Bill and Lee basically raise her son like together. And so it's like there's all of this, and like and you know, like Kay and Lee like kiss at one point. Like there is genuinely like a real like love triangle, except there's no like jealousy between any of them. So I'm like, the three of you just need to be together. Like, well, and then like there's a bunch of other really crazy stuff that happens, and it's so tragic. Like, it's such a doomed romance for so many reasons, and like a classic thing of like these three people had a brief period of time where they were all together and right for each other at the right time of their life, and then it's just like passing ships the rest of their lives in like a really heartbreaking way. So that is my pitch for the Monarch Founder Polycule, because it's like these three like Tumblr character types that Tumblr loves. It's a throuple. It's got some tragic and like amazing fix-it potential, right? Like I want to get out there and read Fix-It Fix, where like things aren't tragic, and there's co-parenting, there's generational trauma. It's just delicious.
I mean, it checks so many boxes. I'm immediately sold on the ship. Convinced.
And like, what's crazy is like, it's, you know, the show is not necessarily half and half, like the Founders and the modern day. Like, it is probably like 60 to 70% modern day and like 30 to 40% Founders. But like, I want a show of like just them. Like, I love them so much. Their dynamics are so good. The actors are so good together. Like, it's just... It's great. Highly recommend.
We love a prequel.
You know? And it's like we love knowing, because also like, you know, we know what happens to John Goodman in Skull Island, and so we know what happens to Bill too. And it's like, and the reveal of what happens to Lee and why he is the way that he is like all these years later is like so terrible and so good. So yeah, Cher, I hope you have a ship maybe that isn't so tragic. What's your first pitch?
So my first pitch is a ship that I thought was completely original and no one had thought of, but why would I ever think that? This is Tumblr. It's from Lord of the Rings, Giggleoss, which is Gimli and Legolas. And I feel like this is a great ship for many reasons. First off, I mean, they're not full-on enemies, but, you know, the elves and the dwarves, definitely, I mean, kind of like, yeah, there's some animosity there. So there's some enemies to lovers. There's some opposites attract. Also, the banter. The consistent banter, they both have some of the best lines and some of the best looks in, you know, like that entire film. So, or a series, trilogy, more than that, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Book series, you know what I mean. Anyway, some of the best lines all together. I love their banter. I love their dynamic. I love their relationship. I feel like they're meant for each other. And apparently Tumblr feels the same, because I went and searched Legolas x Gimli and found out that there are 5.4 thousand followers of the tag.
That's a lot.
Right?
That's not a little. That's a lot.
That's a substantial like amount of people. And there was obviously some fan art, which we will reblog. And so, you know, just altogether, I just love this as a ship. And I'm so glad that Tumblr felt the same. It's still kind of obscure, I guess, because of 5.4K compared to like the size of some other ships. But like the fact that it's got like, it's robust. There's a community.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and I actually personally follow a bunch of people who are big Giggleoss shippers. So it's like, and the quality of the content coming from the shippers is great.
I'm honestly surprised. Like, I don't know why I thought I was being so original when when Lord of the Rings is so hugely popular and like obviously Tumblr loves to ship side characters, you know?
Yeah. But
Like,
I mean, I love
also,
that
like,
you were on Tumblr's wavelength, you know?
you know what? You're so right. Yeah, right there with them.
Yeah.
Well, no, I should work there or something. Anyway. Anyway, what else do you have? What other two surprise ships?
Yeah. So working backwards and sort of like, I guess, like newness. One of the ships that I got really into last year that then I also like got my sister really into, which is always feels like a victory because like she and I don't necessarily always ship the same things, but we like a lot of the same TV shows, but like I tend to like, I don't know, I think more of an active shipper than she is, but I got her like super into this ship and I feel really like vindicated for that. Is Nace, which is Nancy and Ace from the CW television series Nancy Drew, which I watched all of in a very short amount of time in the summer of last year. It is delightful, first of all, and has like a really wonderful like found family friendship dynamic between sort of like, you know, the Nancy Drew crew, right? But in this like modern, you know, adaptation of Nancy Drew, Nancy works at this restaurant and the like, you know, like dishwasher line cook guy, Ace, who she's like known for a long time, but like they've never really clicked, like is, you know, is sort of in her orbit, and then this crazy stuff happens and they end up like, you know, teaming up and stuff, and it's just like an amazing like friends to lovers story that like also like has like, because of like supernatural things that happen in the show because it's Nancy Drew, but also with like supernatural elements, they like there's like a forbidden love aspect to it. There's so much pining. Just like so much pining, and it has that element that I love in ships, which is like a completely like incredibly competent but like slightly insane woman and the guy who's just like absolutely devoted to her and will like follow her off the edge of a cliff.
Love that dynamic.
It's so good. Have you seen any of the show? Have you heard anything about the show? There is a Tumblr fandom, but it's very small.
I have not seen the show. I am familiar with the show. I am familiar with the show because when I watched Riverdale, which I think I stopped maybe 3-4 seasons ago.
Yeah.
When I watched it right around the time Nancy Drew was coming out, they did some crossover episodes to do some Nancy Drew promotion.
Aha,
I think
interesting.
Veronica like goes into the city and gets like drinks with Nancy Drew and like chats.
Oh my god.
And so that's like, that's what I know. And I'm also obviously super familiar with like the Nancy Drew. I read the Nancy Drew books, you know,
Same.
growing up. And
Yeah.
so like subject matter super familiar and was not aware that they introduced supernatural elements, but knowing what I know of Riverdale, I'm so not surprised because they are the same universe. So
Yes. It doesn't go quite as crazy as Riverdale goes.
And just, I mean, I
nothing
feel like
could.
I need to watch. I feel like I need to watch those like the final seasons just to really like fully comprehend it because I've heard so much, but also like feel like I can imagine it so little because it's so wild.
Yes.
I stopped around the baby levitating time.
Same. That's about when I stopped too. Yeah.
I was like, okay, all
Right.
I don't. But yeah, like apparently now, like it ends with a lot more like everyone's different supernatural creatures and they're in a polycule.
Yeah. And like I remember seeing a post once that was like, I can't believe that like the season of Riverdale or whatever like ended with them sacrificing Archie in the woods and cutting his heart out. And I was like, haha, funny post. But I am curious to look it up. And then I was like, oh no, this is real. That's something they did. They cut out Archie's heart in the forest. Okay.
Okay.
He gets better.
Of course he does. He gets better. I hate with like heartburn. Am I right?
T.
I really now want to like go through Riverdale text posts and see which ones are, you know, like,
shit posts
jokes and which ones like shit posts and which ones aren't. I feel like there's just that's got to be really challenging.
Yeah. Oh, that could be a fun quiz for us.
That would be a really fun quiz. I mean, they would also be super easy to do just via reblogs because you could just add a poll in the reblog and say true or false.
That's true. Oh, great idea.
Yeah,
I love that.
That'll be a fun little thing.
All right. What next ship do you have for me?
Okay, up next, I have a ship that I searched and I do actually think is obscure.
Nice.
And it's a new, we're doing an answer time for the new Avatar, The Last Airbender. The Netflix live action series is coming out on the 22nd. And so because of that, I've been doing a lot of preparing, a lot of watching, you know, to prep for the interview. And so my ship is an Avatar, The Last Airbender ship. It's I came up with two names for it, either Mopa or Apomo.
Ooh.
And it's Appa and Momo. If you aren't familiar with Avatar: The Last
I'm not.
Airbender as a story, and then as who these characters are. First off, Avatar: The Last Airbender, TLDR, there are 4 nations in this world. Each nation is kind of centered around an element: earth, air, fire, water. In these nations, there are people who have powers to bend those elements. Mm-hmm. They're called, airbenders, waterbender, and in this world, an avatar is born and reborn into one of these nations pretty much on a consistent loop. There's always an avatar, and they're always kind of coming, and they're the ones who can master all 4 of the elements. And so the Avatar: The Last Airbender is the story of the last airbender who is also the avatar, and essentially, it's their journey because they're obviously being chased for being the avatar. Right. It's very kind of reminiscent. I feel like Circle of Time, Wheel of Time. Like, I feel like there's a lot of alignments I'm kind of seeing as I'm talking about this. Like,
I totally see that.
Aligned components there. Very chosen one centered story. I'm really enjoying. Like, I feel like no wonder that it's huge on Tumblr. Started as as an anime. It was a Nickelodeon show. They made a film years ago, and I think people had notes. And then now there's a Netflix animated series, or a Netflix live action series coming out. So anyway, Appa and Momo are 2 of the animal sidekicks in Avatar.
Amazing.
So Appa is like this giant kind of flying, like fuzzy creature that is the Avatar's like best friend and little animal sidekick. I feel like it's like a flying water buffalo would be like a good way to describe it, maybe, or one of those like fluffy cows, but it has 6 legs, so that it's huge. So Appa, and then Momo is like a little creature spirit that kind of like has really big ears that it can like fly around with, and it's like a tiny little guy that you can fit in your like little bag, or it's like a secretive little friend, and they're friends, and they're cute little sidekicks. And I just feel like opposites attract in terms of one being like really big and one being really small, but they're still like fuzzy cute little guys who like fly around, and they're always around each other, so why not? And my biggest pitch here is, look, donkey and dragon from Shrek vibes.
That's a very strong pitch.
that like, need I say more? And what's your final ship, Lauren?
I love that. I did not see a animal sidekick ship coming. I think that definitely counts for like most obscure. I think that's awesome.
Thank you very much.
We need more of that.
We should also do a quiz on the Dashboard Diaries, not a quiz, a poll on the Dashboard Diaries Tumblr, with each of the ships that we pitch in this episode.
Yes, that's a perfect idea. I love that. So my final ship is, I think, definitely, the most obscure in some ways, simply because I think that the show is slept on, which we talked about before, and also I'm at the point with this particular ship where I feel like I actually have reblogged every single post about them that exists on Tumblr. We're kind of at that threshold. So thank you to the people who have made gift sets of these two.
So you're so please, can we please expand?
Can we please expand? Exactly. And that's actually a perfect segue into The Expanse, which is the show that I'm talking about.
What? I did not even realize.
Let's expand The Expanse, right? So you guys have heard me talk about The Expanse before. I think we are going to do like a pitch each other shows that Tumblr should love. So I'm not going to get too far into the show. It is a sci-fi set in space Amazon series that ran for 5 seasons, I want to say, 5 or 6 seasons. I'm forgetting exactly how much. And one of the central characters in it is a character named Amos Burton. And I'm just going to read this post that I'll make sure to reblog that I think just perfectly encapsulates who he is and why Tumblr should love him. So this is from Spurs That Jingle, Jangle, Jingle, which is a great Tumblr name. Thank you. Yep. And it reads, Amos Burton is what everyone wants their big buff military men to be, TBH. He knows how to walk in heels. He's deeply and unapologetically violent. He's good with kids. He finds people he trusts and sticks next to them like their lapdog pitbull that's ready to tear out throats on a moment's notice. He's a mama's boy. His sexuality is, I hate reading all those labels, good for you, or I'm sorry that happened. He's drawn to found family sisters like a moth to flame. Whenever he is treated with genuine kindness, he looks like a deer in the headlights. He's great. And that just perfectly describes Amos.
Absolutely incredible. I love that.
Like,
I love the juxtaposition of all of those descriptions or descriptors. Amazing.
He's incredible. Orphaned former sex worker turned mechanic slash, muscle of this what are essentially like fugitive group for the first couple of seasons that then become the most important people in the universe. And he his whole storyline is about like him regaining a lot of the humanity that he lost in his childhood and in his like very tragic backstory. And yeah, he like genuine, like even the creators of The Expanse have said that his sexuality is just yes. Like he's just that guy. And his best friend in the whole world, that is, once again, textual, he calls him his best friend in the whole world, is Praxidike Nang, Prax, who is a guy that they sort of pick up after there's this attack on the planet Ganymede. Prax is a botanist, and in the like collapse of Ganymede, he loses track of his daughter, and then the crew of the Rocinante, the sort of main crew, helps him find his daughter. And like Prax is, it's like he's not equipped for this like crazy life in space. Like he's a plant guy who is a single dad, and like he just like is thrown into this world of like aliens and war and this crazy stuff. And Amos is like the guy who like teaches him kind of like how to like take care of himself and protects him. And there's like an amazing moment when like Amos has like a thing about kids because of the way that he grew up, where he's like absurdly protective of children. And so when they're looking for Prax's daughter, he ends up like almost beating this guy to death who they think has information. And Prax is like the only one of the group to actually like stop him successfully. And it's just like, it's so, and then there's like a whole thing when they actually find Prax's daughter that like, if I speak, it's just like, it's such a great sort of like gentle and tough guy ship. And like, and just like found family, like, adoptive parent type of situation, like the way that like, he is with Nay, the daughter, is so sweet. And like, yeah, just like there's something about like Prax, who is so protective of his daughter, who like also has this like genetic illness, who just like immediately trusts Amos with her, that like absolutely shatters my heart. Like I love it so much.
Oh.
It's
so please, people,
please
post
more about
Praxos content. My last ship is from What We Do in the Shadows. It is I've been calling it the Guide Robinson.
Ooh.
It's Colin Robinson and the Guide. If you are listening and are not familiar with What We Do in the Shadows and, the individual characters and their personalities, Colin Robinson is an energy vampire. So he sucks the energy out of people like as his vibe. Yeah. Very like Dwight in The Office coded, I would say, in a lot of ways, with less personality, or maybe like more of a flat personality. And then the Guide, played by Christian Shaw, is the like this, centuries old vampire with like mystical powers, who has a lot of power in the, I don't know, What We Do in the Shadows universe, or like in the vampire world technically, but no one listens to her. And like she's just kind of very like awkward and has trouble making friends, and really wants to fit in but struggles with it. And I just think that Colin Robinson and the Guide would balance each other out in a lot of special ways. And I don't know, I think they might be meant for each other. I think it's something that maybe, I don't know if it's been considered at all, but I'm honestly, the more I'm talking about it, the more I'm like very pro this. The Guide Robinson.
I love it.
I'm also very proud of the ship name.
It's a good ship name. It's like, it sounds like its own sort of thing. Like, it's very cool. I love that. I do love that it's like, there are those ships where it's just like, it's just instinctual. Like, these people just belong together. And I can't, I there's not more that you need, right? It's just that gut instinct.
And I always forget, do you watch What We Do in the Shadows?
I haven't yet. I need to.
Okay, I feel like this is the show I'm going to have to pitch to you.
Yeah,
and just pitch in gently, because oh my God, I love it. So good.
I love that.
You would love it.
Yeah, I'm sure I would. I just, for some reason, haven't gotten around to it. I don't know why.
Well, it's so exciting that you get to see it for the first time whenever you do.
That's true. That is always such a delight.
So much fun talking about ships. Love it. I feel like ships really are the I was trying to think of a ship-related pun they sail through the dashboard. I don't know.
Ships are really the wind beneath our sails as
thank you
as art consumers.
Oh my gosh, Lauren, what would I do without you? Thank you so much. Anyway, on to our next segment, Dashboard Confessionals, where we take a look into our archives and see what we were posting about this time, however many years ago. So what do you have for us this week, Lauren?
Yeah, so on February 13th, 2015, so 9 years ago, good Lord, this is just a classic Tumblr post that made me smile. It's just a photo of Lenny Kravitz wearing an absolutely fucking enormous scarf. And, it's just like, I don't know the origin of this photo because I assume that it's photoshopped. I'm fairly certain that, it's a fake photo of Lenny Kravitz wearing a huge scarf. I don't know why. I don't know what spurred my Sharona 1987 to make this post, but I do love it. It just makes me smile.
Thank you.
Yes, we do thank you.
1987.
Thank you for your work. Yeah, that very simple and silly one this week. What about you? What's in your archives?
So in typical me fashion, couldn't pick just one, so I picked two. The first one is from February 19th, I think 2017. And it is, 2017. And it's a post that David, who is David Karp, the founder of Tumblr, posted in Slack. And he just tagged himself in Slack and said @David. And then everyone responded to David tagging himself with the emoji of himself. And then I posted it on Tumblr, tagging @David's Tumblr.
It's very good.
And then so it was very bad. And David did this because it was like a bit or a thing to do, like in the Tumblr full team Slack when David was CEO, to put in the Slack @channel @David, and so tag everyone in the company and then tag the CEO of the company. And a few people do this. It did eventually. HR was eventually like, you can't.
You have to stop.
You need to stop doing this. But yeah. But before we, we're fairly and validly, stopped from notifying the entire company and its founder and CEO on a regular basis for no reason. David did post @David in the Slack, and it was a big day. It was exciting.
Incredible.
I think, for everyone involved.
I love it.
Yeah. And the other one is, really, really, short, sweet, self-explanatory.
Oh my goodness.
It is my yearbook photo from 2005.
Look at you. You're so cute.
And I am wearing
a
a navy blue flowery polo shirt and a navy blue puka shell necklace to really accentuate the polo shirt.
A perfect 2005 outfit. Absolutely impeccable.
Definitely from Limited too.
Yes. That's amazing.
And with that, what has you in your feels this week, Lauren?
So this weekend, I did something that I haven't done in a really long time, which is like on Sunday, I started this book, and I'm going to get the pronunciation of the title wrong. I actually don't know how it's pronounced, but Piranesi by Susanna Clarke, who is most known for writing Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, which is a book that I love. And she has written 3 books. It's like Jonathan Strange, The Ladies of Grace I Do, and this book. And this has been on my to be read for 4 years since it came out in 2020 because I love her first 2 books so much. And I read it. I started a couple days ago, and then on Sunday, this is Monday as we're recording this, I just sat down and spent most of the morning and afternoon reading the rest of this book. It wasn't a particularly long book. And it was just it's been a while since I've had that experience of reading a book where you're just so sucked into it. And then I get to the last line and I just instantly burst into tears. And it was just I don't know. It really, I've been in a little bit of a reading rut for a while. I would say most of what I've read in the last 18 months has been nonfiction books, romance novels, and Star Wars books. And all of those things are great, but there's something about sitting down with a completely original sort of story that you have no idea where it's going, right? Even if it's an original romance, I know kind of what the end goal is, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it just it really got me in my feels because it sort of reminded me of the magic of reading. What about you? What has you in your feels?
So I just started watching the new Amazon MGM Studio series, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the new Mr. and Mrs. Smith series. That's with Maya Erskine and Donald Glover. And I am loving it. I think it's really fun and cute, and I'm shipping them super hard. And I really like them both, like, as individuals. And so I'm really excited about having, like, a new show, like a brand new show that I, am excited about and watching. So yeah, that has my feels.
That show is definitely next on my list, and I just like it looks so fun. I love both those actors so much. Like that's great.
It's fun. It's cute. Like definitely a bi-panic show.
Excellent.
Overall, really enjoying it.
We love those.
Yeah, we love those. It's most shows, as it turns out.
That's true. Yeah.
Attractive characters,
which is most shows.
But, which is most shows. And they don't have to be attractive because it's in the eye of the beholder.
That's so true. I mean? Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So most shows, it's just most shows.
we don't need an excuse to have bi-panic.
It's just everything. And also, I wanted to quickly before we close, I feel like I bring up this post all the time, and so I just wanted to mention it because it's another Lord of the Rings post. I feel like when we did Dashboard Diaries Dashboard Confessionals last week, I read a text post that reads, from homosexuals having tea, which it turns out I've used as my dashboard confessional twice in a row. That is the text post says love that one scene in Return of the King that's bad news, Sauron knows everything, Pippin knows good news, Pippin knows absolutely fuck all.
It's so good.
And someone made it into a gift set, and I was really excited to see that on my dashboard. And so thank you,
outstanding
user Remus John Lupin Remus John Sloopin. Had to, that's the username.
Yes.
For making that work of art. So that also has me in my feels. It was exciting to see this text post that I continue to reblog for years. Still
it hits every time.
Have new life. It hits it hits every time. Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you yet again. Completing my thoughts. What would I do without you? Anyway, with that, we panic, we fixate, we complete each other's sentences.
I love that.
I'm Cher McAnelly, and you can find me at overshares.tumblr.com.
And I'm Lauren Shippen, and you can find me at theLaurenShippen.tumblr.com.
This has been Dashboard Diaries, and
may your anons always be loving,
your dash always refresh,
your gifts always be loading,
and your ships always canon.
May the fixer reading always be finished,
and the answers you seek always in the reblogs.
Thanks for scrolling with us.
Be warned that once you pick up a refreshingly cold drink from McDonald's and people see just how refreshingly cold that drink from McDonald's is, you may create drink envy. Because there are drinks, then there are drinks from McDonald's.
For a morning brew that really creates a stir, get any size iced coffee, including caramel and French vanilla, for just 99 cents before 11 a.m. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.